Letter in the mail says Dominion's coming through, and they want us to think there's nothing we can do. Hard to believe, but we found out it's true. They want to build a 42-inch pipeline. We don't want your pipeline. We don't want your pipeline. We'll take the sunshine, the water, and wind. We're gonna put a stop sign on Dominion's pipeline. Go tell your neighbors, go tell your friends.
But trying to get information about the pipeline was like pulling teeth. I remember that big meeting that Dominion had. We were so hopeful that then everybody, who had come to some of the other meetings and wasn't able to really ask questions of Dominion would now have an opportunity. We could all go and people would ask questions. So when you went in, if you wanted to find out about landslides or something, you went to this table so that nobody got the same information. I remember going over to the woman who did the initial layout. I said, why did you select this route? She said, well, we knew we were going to start here and be here, so we just drew a line like that. I mean, she admitted it. I mean, that was, no flyovers, no anything. It was just like this. Now, I think somebody had probably realized that going through Albemarle County would be a disaster, and Nelson County, this little podunk country rural place with 12,000 people, would probably not mind too much. And I think that's why they came straight down. Of course, they changed the route later on. But I went to many meetings trying to get information. I remember I was on the Chamber of Commerce because I was trying to bring a little bit of a different perspective to the chamber, which was just, anyway. The Dominion guy came. A Dominion guy had been invited to come and talk to the chamber about all the economic benefits that this would bring, the pipeline would bring to businesses. And I asked him, I said, okay, so you're saying there are going to be jobs. How many permanent jobs will Nelson County have after this pipeline is built? And he looked at me and he said, none. Well, that's not the kind of information they were putting out, of course, And we all knew that there would be a lot of jobs for construction, but nothing for people afterwards. I mean, we were kind of shocked about that. So just getting information was just, I've never seen an organization be so, I don't know if devious is the right word, but dismissive, probably, of questions and working around them and not answering them. Boards of supervisors have an enormous amount on their plates. And there is no way that any individual supervisor could possibly get the information that he or she needed to really understand some of the issues related to the pipeline. And I think it was Nancy who suggested that we form an inter-county organization that could provide information, that we would be there to educate all the different boards of supervisors. And I was asked to find out if this was legal, because I was on the Virginia, Board of Supervisors state organization. So I called up their attorney, and they said we had no legal right to form such an official committee. But I always thought it would have been so helpful for someone to work on a given individual and educate us, and not just in Nelson County, but in all the different counties, because it was just too much to know.
There was the legal fight, which was unique to Nelson County, which was the Clean Water Act doesn't allow you to build a pipeline through designated wetlands, and Dominion had to request a variance, and our Florida Zoning Authority actually denied variances to go through the wetlands in Nelson County. That was the result of some lawsuits, and there were still aspects of that case that were still pending when the project was canceled.
we'd been working on the floodplain ordinance for a couple of years, and like so many different things, nothing was going on, nothing was happening. And then we had this dynamic young zoning administrator, Tim Padalino. And Vicki Wheaton contacted me, and we started just chatting about the floodplain ordinance and how we needed to get it done. And Tim was like, yeah, we should get this thing done, get it off the books. And it had come to the Board of Supervisors several times and sent back because of different things. And the last time it was ready to go, Vicki and I worked this out, and Vicki spent a great deal of time contacting the DCR people to get all, it's complicated, but there are all these different things that you can put into a floodplain ordinance that gives you a better deal for your citizens that I'm not even going to go into. But there were a few things in there that I thought, well, let's just do this. One of them was not allowing anything like natural gas to cross over a stream, to go through a stream. The other was not putting anything from someplace else as fill into a stream, because we'd heard about coal ash and all sorts of horrible stuff going into streams as fill for some pipelines and whatever. And Tim said, well, I'll put it in there, but it's never going to fly. Never happening, not going to happen. I said, just put it in there. He put it in there, and because that ordinance had come through the supervisors so many times and nobody sort of noticed that we put in these restrictions that were very important, it passed. Later on, Tommy Harvey says, I never passed that. No, I didn't vote that. I said, well, you signed it, whatever. And I think that had a big impact, that we really put these things in that a variance is requested for, and they were going to have to do a variance for every crossing. And that wasn't going to happen. And then the lawsuit started related to that.
The only way something gets a fresh look is to present the information in a fresh way, new information, and then make sure it gets into the right hands. Dominion never even applied for many of those variances, so it was clear that they had hit a roadblock.
Yeah, we just had the minimum requirements.
Right.
Every floodplain ordinance that's out there has to meet the minimum requirements. What I was asking, and what FEMA is really pushing for, and the reward is being part of this community rating system but counties have to voluntarily adopt the higher standards. They can't, the minimum is all they can require, but they highly recommend. And they say also that if you enact higher standards, they take precedence over the minimum standards. And I also would encourage, based on this, that counties right now start looking at their floodplain ordinances and start adopting some of these higher standards just for global warming alone. And it's interesting that there's so few people that have like flood insurance, even in Nelson County. It's like amazing how few have it. And one of the things when you do adopt higher standards, and I hope that Nelson County is going to pursue this further, is that you can be part of this community rating system. And it actually decreases premiums because counties have made their floodplains more safer.
Getting to the local government, I think we were pretty slow, I thought. And maybe because we did get to them, but that small body of people that you initially get, even if it's 2 or 3 people, go to your local government and tell them you don't like it, you don't want it.
I think it's important to understand that the local government will be being courted by Dominion also.
Yeah.
And so the local government is going to feel like, oh, we're going to get all these jobs. We're going to look great.
Right.
So you need to do the research to find out what the actual story is, so you can educate the local government, and then you know, and then educate the public and then whatever. But they're being courted too, and they're being told, you're gonna look like a big
Yeah.
job giver
Yeah.
around here. But
Yeah.
it ain't so.
It ain't so.
Well, a letter in the mail says Dominion's coming through, and they want us to think there's nothing we can do. Hard to believe, but we found out it's true. They want to build a 42-inch pipeline. We don't want your pipeline. We don't want your pipeline. We'll take the sunshine, the water.